Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome back to today's Tolkien Times. I'm the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast. Let's go ahead and keep week 16 going with today's Third Age Thursday. Time for us to revisit those familiar and sometimes not so familiar stories of the Third Age. Now, for the last couple of weeks, we've been hanging out with Gandalf and the hobbits as they caught up with Barliman at the Prancing Pony. It's been quite the conversation. Threats from the south, unexpected violence, and Bree on the very edge of danger. Today, we finish Homeward Bound. The travelers stayed in Bree all the next day, and Mr. Butterbur could not complain of his business, next evening at any rate. Curiosity overcame all fears, and his house was crowded. For a while, out of politeness, the hobbits visited the common room in the evening and answered a good many questions. Bree memories being retentive, Frodo was asked many times if he had written his book. "Not yet," he answered. "I'm going home now to put my notes in order." He promised to deal with the amazing events at Bree, and so give a bit of interest to a book that appeared likely to treat mostly of the remote and less important affairs away south. Then one of the younger folk called for a song, but at that a hush fell and he was frowned down, and the call was not repeated. Evidently, there was no wish for any uncanny events in the common room again. No trouble by day, nor any sound by night, disturbed the peace of Bree while the travelers remained there. But the next morning they got up early, for as the weather was still rainy, they wished to reach the Shire before night, and it was a long ride. The Bree folk were all out to see them off, and were in merrier mood than they had been for a year. And those who had not seen the strangers in all their gear before gaped with wonder at them, at Gandalf with his white beard and the light that seemed to gleam from him, as if his blue mantle was only a cloud over sunshine. And at the four hobbits, like riders upon errantry out of almost forgotten tales. Even those who had laughed at all the talk about the king began to think there might be some truth in it. "Well, good luck on your road, and good luck to your homecoming," said Mr. Butterbur. "I should have warned you before that all's not well in the Shire neither, if what we hear is true. Funny goings-on, they say. But one thing drives out another, and I was full of my own troubles. But if I may be so bold, you've come back changed from your travels, and you look now like folk as can deal with troubles out of hand. I don't doubt you'll soon set all to rights. Good luck to you, and the oftener you come back, the better I'll be pleased." They wished him farewell, and rode away, and passed through the west gate and on towards the Shire. Bill the pony was with them, and as before, he had a good deal of baggage, but he trotted alongside beside Sam, and seemed well content. "I wonder what old Barliman was hinting at," said Frodo. "I can guess some of it," said Sam gloomily. "What I saw in the mirror, trees cut down and all, and my old gaffer turned out of the row. I ought to have hurried back quicker." "And something's wrong with the South Farthing, evidently," said Merry. "There's a general shortage of pipeweed." "Well, whatever it is," said Pippin, "Lotho will be at the bottom of it. You can be sure of that." "Deep in, but not at the bottom," said Gandalf. "You have forgotten Saruman. He began to take an interest in the Shire before Mordor did." "Well, we've got you with us," said Merry, "so things will soon be cleared up." "I am with you, at present," said Gandalf. "But soon I shall not be. I am not coming to the Shire. You must settle its affairs yourselves. That is what you have been trained for. Do you not yet understand? My time is over. It is no longer my task to set things to rights, nor to help folk to do so. And as for you, my dear friends, you will need no help. You are grown up now, grown indeed very high. Among the great you are, and I have no longer any fear at all for any of you. But if you would know, I am turning aside soon. I am going to have a long talk with Bombadil, such a talk as I have not had in all my time. He is a moss-gatherer, and I have been a stone doomed to rolling. But my rolling days are ending, and now we shall have much to say to one another." In a little while, they came to the point on the east road where they had taken leave of Bombadil, and they hoped and half expected to see him standing there to greet them as they went by. But there was no sign of him, and there was a gray mist on the Barrow Downs southwards, and a deep veil over the old forest far away. They halted, and Frodo looked south wistfully. "I should dearly like to see the old fellow again," he said. "I wonder how he is getting on." "As well as ever, you may be sure," said Gandalf. "Quite untroubled. And, I should guess, not much interested in anything that we have done or seen, unless perhaps in our visits to the Ents. There may be a time later for you to go and see him, but if I were you, I should press on now for home, or you will not come to the Brandywine Bridge before the gates are locked." "But there aren't any gates," said Mary. "Not on the road. You know that quite well. Well, there's the Buckland Gate, of course, but they'll let me through that at any time." "There weren't any gates, you mean," said Gandalf. "I think you will find some now. And you might have more trouble even at the Buckland Gate than you think. But you'll manage all right. Goodbye, dear friends. Not for the last time, not yet. Goodbye." He turned Shadowfax off the road, and the great horse leaped to the green dike that here ran beside it. And then, at a cry from Gandalf, he was gone, racing towards the Barrow Downs like a wind from the north. "Well, here we are, just the four of us that started out together," said Mary. "We've left all the rest behind, one after another. It seems almost like a dream that has slowly faded." "Not to me," said Frodo. "To me, it feels more like falling asleep again." There's a lot to unpack here, including that cheeky reference to Frodo's catastrophic singing the last time he was in Bree, and the foreboding reference to Saruman. But that's the job of the PPP. I want to focus all too briefly, I'm afraid, on that last line, Frodo saying that it feels more like falling asleep again. I think the key here is that it, as referred to by Merry and Frodo, are actually referencing different things for each of them. For Merry, it is the adventure they were all on, the experience of the Fellowship over the last 13 months, from Third Age September 3018 to October 3019. Those events for Merry are fading now as he returns home to the Shire. Frodo, on the other hand, seems to be referring to the Shire itself as it. The Shire feels more like falling asleep again. It was the sleepy place where he was born and raised before he experienced Middle-earth on this unexpected quest. The thing is, though, does this mean he's looking forward to the rest that he thinks will be offered? I don't think so. He just told Gandalf earlier, "There is no real going back. Though I may come to the Shire, it will not seem the same, for I shall not be the same." So what does he mean? It's a bit of a mystery then, but one I look forward to unpacking late next season on the Prancing Pony podcast. That wraps it up for this week's and this season's Third Age Thursdays. What tales will I tell in Season 3? Come back the week of October 2nd to find out. Please visit patreon.com/Tolkien Times to learn how you can support the show and get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, a bonus weekly episode, and a lot more. And please, join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times as I welcome a very special guest for Fandom Friday. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you're listening to it on a podcast, please follow or subscribe. And everybody, please follow @Tolkien Times on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.